Hey everybody, I'm Alex Big Blue, and this is my top 10 Defenders. So today I'll be telling you guys my top 10 favorite Defenders members ever from 10 to 1. And the only characters that was Defenders that I won't be counting in this are the Secret Defenders because I might do a separate list for it soon. And also I kind of consider it a different thing because it has a different name too as well. But anybody else who's ever a Defender in any of the other normal Defenders books or teams, I will be counting here. So let's get right to it with number 10, Beast. So Beast is a character that I like a lot because he's equal parts brain and brawn. And I think that makes him unique to start with. There's not a ton of comic characters like that. And I think that he's definitely one of the older ones, if not the original one like that, as far as ones I know of. And in general, I think his looks as a character is really fascinating. He looks sort of like some sort of cryptid, like a almost like a blue Bigfoot or a type of blue werewolf, almost maybe, or a hybrid of those. And yeah, I think he just looks really cool. He's definitely one of the more interesting looking X-Men too, as far as that goes. And I think him as a member of the Defenders is one of the runs that seem like the most official ones too. And I think he's a great part of that from what I've seen already. And I just like Beast a lot. He's just really tough and taking beating. He'll go through a lot and not give up answers or anything like that. I've saw him do things like that. He's just a very likable character in a lot of ways and very interesting. He has a lot of dualities to him in general. At number 9, another X-Men powerhouse, Colossus. So Colossus has one of the most unique looks as a character for one, especially among the mutants because of his metal skin. His costume is also always awesome, whichever version of it is. And I think the main thing about him is he's just a very likable character. His personality and morals are always high and good. Well, typically, I mean, they all go back and forth, I suppose, but he's definitely always one of the more likable ones that tries to do what's right. And he's a very physical guy that can handle a lot of the problems. And he's a great teammate on any team he's generally on. At number 8, one of the all-time most famous characters, the Incredible Hulk. So the Hulk is a character that I've always liked quite a bit, but I think I've started to like him even more as time went along for different reasons, because I like the kind of whole Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of thing about him. I love that. The uncontrollable monster that the man wants to stop but can't. I find that fascinating. And also in general, I just like everything he's in. He's usually always pretty interesting, and his stories tend to be pretty great too. And yeah, the Hulk is just obviously a very strong and crazy, type of character in general. He's very exciting, and of course, his iconic look with the green skin and he's huge and just crazy. I really like him a lot, and I think he might be possibly the best version of that archetype. At number 7, Iron Fist. So I've always thought Iron Fist, once I learned about him when I was a little kid, I've always thought he was one of the coolest characters. I mean, he punched the heart out of a dragon, so it'd get much cooler than that, right? But also, I think his costume is always just really awesome. It's definitely one of the better ones in general, I think. And he just always seems like a really interesting character. He has a unique origin and a kind of fun and sometimes even a little bit funny personality. And I just think he's just a really awesome character whenever he shows up in anything, and I've always really liked him a lot. At number 6, Nova. So Nova is one of the characters that I started to like a lot recently because I read a bunch of the New Warriors, which of course he's one of the founding members of. And yeah, basically he's a very kind of brash and in your face kind of action type of character. And also he's sort of headstrong, but he also kind of gets along with the team too. It just depends sort of his mood, I guess. But yeah, I find him very intriguing and very interesting as his personality, because he has a bunch of different sides to it, kind of. And also, his powers are very cool. I like that a lot. Very unique powers. And his costume is awesome as well. At number 5, Havoc. So Havoc is way up on my list of X-Men, my favorite ones of that. He made the top 10 of that as well. And I just want to say, in general, I really started liking Havoc a lot because I read a bunch of books that had him in it, including the Mutant X storyline, or that series of comics. The first arc in that especially, but in general I like it too. But the first arc in that really grabbed me. I thought it was great. And he's the main character in that as he goes into a different reality and stuff. And yeah, he leads a team there called the Six, which is like a different X-Men team. And yeah, ever since then, I've really liked Havoc a lot. I think he is really cool and very a very good leader in that actually. And he's also just shows like his strength of character. He really tries to do the right thing and is very brave and kind of puts himself on the line in a lot of stories like that. At number 4, Ney Marita. So Ney Marita is a character that I like a ton that has really risen up the ranks a bunch. She actually surpassed Nova because before in a different list I had him ahead of her actually. But yeah, they're very close as far as how much I like him. But she is really a character I like a lot because she has a great personality and she's extremely likable. That's the main things I would say. But also, besides that, she has a very cool look to her and very awesome powers. She's very strong and fast and all that stuff. And of course, their underwater powers. And she's also quite literally and metaphorically a fish out of water type of your character in general. So that's always interesting when she tries to, react to humans and like living on the surface land. That's always very interesting, anyways. And yeah, she's a very strong character, but also very kind of a loving character as well. And I find that very interesting. Number 3, Silver Surfer. So Silver Surfer, to me, is very interesting for this reason, or to start with, which is he is extremely powerful to the point of it's almost unbelievable if you don't know what all of his powers are in comparison to a lot of other superheroes. And besides that, his origin is very cool. I won't spoil all of it in case you don't know, but it's very interesting. Has to do with Galactus and all that in his homeland. All that's very interesting. And also, in general, Silver Surfer's personality as a surfer is kind of a little bit almost like neutral to a certain point, which makes it kind of interesting whenever he has to deal with different people or monsters or, different crazy scenarios. And I feel like he sort of gets more personality almost as time goes along as well, which is kind of fun. But in general, he's really likable, and his stories is really great. I love reading Silver Surfer comic books. That is especially the reason why I love the character so much. At number 2, Daredevil. So Daredevil, I think, is one of the coolest characters in general, and I also think he's just one of the most likable ones. And I would say even beyond that, he's just an extremely well written and thought out character for his costume, his origin, his personality, even like his religious ties is a very big part of his character. The fact that the devil thing is, interwoven through all of it, being his dad being the boxer and his costume, and of course the religious aspect of it. And yeah, just his powers are very unique. The only one like that I can think of. And I've always really liked Daredevil and his comic books and everything like that. And at number 1, a character that I've always pretty much liked ever since I remember, like learning about other characters, which is Hawkeye. So Hawkeye, I think, is great because, first of all, I think, in my opinion, he's probably the best Archer character. I know that's arguable for a lot of people. And I like Green Arrow and others as well, by the way. But Hawkeye has always just been like the perfect, in my opinion, like Archer type character for a comic book. And also, I think he's like a great, almost compared to most heroes, like a great everyman type of hero, where he's not nearly as powerful as a lot of the other ones, where they just have insane powers and stuff. But he's also, I've always really liked him in general because I think he's a really good character that means well and tries to do what's right. But he's also funny a lot of the time. Or, he says different aspects like that too that makes him interesting. And I also really love his costume. I love the purple and blue costume. It's really colorful and, kind of really creative looking. I've always really liked that a lot as well. And yeah, I used to also play as him on the Avengers game on Super Nintendo. That's one of the places where I've started to like him first. Yeah, I've always really liked Hawkeye ever since then. But yeah, that's my list. I'm Alex Blue. Thank you guys so much for watching. Tell me who your guys' top 10 is down in the comments. See you later.